Popular history often portrays Abraham Lincoln as a wartime leader who wielded unilateral emergency military power to force emancipation upon the nation. This assumption rests on Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution, which defines the president's role as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. This authority faced a significant legal test in the 1952 Youngstown Sheet and Tube case, clarifying the limits of executive reach during war. In his dissent, Chief Justice Fred Vinson claimed Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation was issued wholly without statutory authority. This framing suggests a president can rewrite domestic law through pure decree, bypassing the legislature entirely. A different section of the Constitution, Article 2, Section 3, presents a more grounded legal justification. Known as the Take Care Clause, it requires the president to take care that the laws be faithfully executed. Legal scholar Henry L. Chambers Jr. argues that the proclamation was an exercise of this exact duty. This shifts the historical model of the proclamation from a unilateral decree to an act of statutory execution. The administrative reality sitting on Lincoln's desk supports this view. Lincoln synthesized a complex web of existing congressional legislation to formulate the final decree. Congress initiated the legal assault on slavery in 1861, long before Lincoln issued his own order. The first Confiscation Act of August 1861 established the initial mechanism for seizing rebel assets. This law removed property rights from slaveholders if they used enslaved people to directly support the Confederate war effort. By July 1862, Congress passed the more aggressive Second Confiscation Act. This act targeted the property of specific rebel classes and declared their slaves forever free the moment they reached Union lines. Crucially, the act authorized the president to use these individuals in any capacity needed to suppress the rebellion. By mid-1862, the legislature had established the legal framework for emancipation. The executive branch was waiting for the tactical moment to enforce it. Lincoln needed a significant battlefield victory to ensure the enforcement of these acts would not appear desperate. The Battle of Antietam in September 1862 provided the necessary political and military momentum. Days later, Lincoln issued the preliminary proclamation, serving a 100-day statutory ultimatum to the Confederacy. This period coincided with a practical crisis as Union generals were overwhelmed by thousands of escaping slaves entering their camps. A legal paradox emerged. An article of war forbade the military from returning these people, but commanders could not easily determine which owners remained loyal to the Union and which did not. This logistical chaos required the executive branch to provide a unified interpretation of existing laws to maintain war operations. This statutory matrix illustrates Lincoln's categorization of enslaved people. Group 1 consisted of slaves of disloyal masters. The Take Care Clause obligated Lincoln to emancipate them under the Second Confiscation Act. Group 2 included runaways of loyal masters in Union territory. Lincoln legally integrated them into the war effort. For these first two groups, the Emancipation Proclamation was an inescapable administrative necessity dictated by congressional law. Group 3 comprised the slaves of loyal masters still residing in rebel territory. Emancipating this group was the most significant constitutional stretch under a narrow reading of the law. Lincoln justified this by executing the broader congressional policy of dismantling the Confederate infrastructure. The proclamation remained anchored in effectuating the legislative intent of defeating the rebellion. The final text of the Emancipation Proclamation reflects this legislative synthesis. Lincoln explicitly references the executive government, recognizing and maintaining freedom. This phrasing aligned the Confiscation Acts, the Militia Act, and the Articles of War into a single policy. This led to the immediate integration of freed slaves into the Union armed forces. The proclamation was the administrative culmination of a legislative war on slavery. We can plot this action using Justice Robert Jackson's three-tiered framework of presidential authority. The statutory evidence moves Lincoln's order into Zone 1. This zone represents the highest level of constitutional power, occurring when a president acts with the support of Congress. Lincoln acted with the full weight of the legislature, executing established policy. This reframing shifts the focus from presidential fiat to administrative execution. Recognizing the proclamation as statutory execution roots the destruction of slavery in the foundational architecture of the Constitution.